Introduction: the path to becoming mentally unbreakable. Life will test you in ways you never expect. It will push you into moments where everything feels uncertain. Your plans fall apart, people disappoint you, and the path forward becomes foggy. In these moments, many people crumble because they rely on the world to stay stable, not realizing that the world has never promised stability. But Stoicism teaches something revolutionary. True strength doesn't come from controlling what happens around you. It comes from mastering what happens within you. You become unbreakable not when life gets easier, but when you develop the mindset that no matter what life throws at you, you will not fall apart. The Stoics believed that humans are capable of extraordinary resilience when they learn to detach from chaos and anchor themselves in discipline, clarity, and inner peace. You are here because you can feel that you're capable of more discipline, more mental toughness, more emotional stability, and more self-respect. Deep down, you know that life isn't about avoiding hard things. It's about becoming strong enough that hard things no longer weaken you. And that strength does not appear overnight. It is built through small decisions, deliberate thinking, and a mindset trained to rise above fear, overthinking, comparison, and emotional turbulence. The lessons ahead are not philosophical theories to memorize. They are tools to live by, habits that reshape your thinking, and laws that will rewire the way you see yourself and the world. If you apply them consistently, you won't just become stronger. You will become someone who walks through life with calm confidence, someone who cannot be shaken by insults, failure, rejection, or uncertainty. This is the journey of becoming mentally unbreakable, and it begins now. Lesson 1. Control your inner world. Before you try to control the outer. One of the greatest sources of human suffering is the belief that peace will come once the world finally behaves the way we want it to. People think, I'll be calm when others stop disrespecting me. I'll be confident when life gives me better opportunities. I'll be happy when things go my way. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Waiting for the world to bring you peace is like waiting for the ocean to become calm before learning how to swim. The world will always be unpredictable. People will disappoint you, situations will shift, and circumstances will test you. But you don't have to be a prisoner to external chaos. When you learn to control your thoughts, regulate your reactions, and maintain clarity even in uncomfortable situations, life stops feeling like something happening to you and starts becoming something you can navigate with intention and strength. Your inner world becomes your anchor, allowing you to stay stable even when everything around you is unstable. Think of your mind like a fortress. If the walls are weak, the smallest intrusion destroys everything inside. But if the walls are strong, built with disciplined awareness and emotional control, no external force can collapse them. You begin to respond rather than react, observe rather than panic, and think rather than explode. A rude comment no longer ruins your day. A setback no longer crushes your confidence. A challenge no longer paralyzes you. By mastering your inner world, you take back your power from circumstances and people who never should have had it in the first place. This is why the Stoics emphasized self-discipline, reflection, and mental clarity. Because the person who rules their mind rules their life. Before trying to fix your relationships, your career, or your environment, learn to master the only battlefield that truly matters, the one inside you. Lesson 2. Delay your emotional reactions to gain unshakable power. One of the quickest ways to destroy your peace is to respond instantly to every emotion that rises within you. Most people allow their anger, fear, ego, or frustration to hijack their actions. They react before thinking, speak before listening, and judge before understanding. The Stoics taught that emotional impulses are like sparks, harmless on their own, but dangerous if you let them ignite into a fire. When you delay your reaction even for a few seconds, something powerful happens. The emotional fog clears. Your mind regains clarity, and you begin to see the situation for what it really is instead of what your emotions tell you it is. Marcus Aurelius practiced this constantly, reminding himself that every situation becomes easier the moment you choose not to let your emotions take the lead. By mastering this pause, you gain access to a level of self-control that most people never develop in their lifetime. Imagine you're confronted, criticized, or misunderstood. Your instinct is to defend yourself immediately, raise your voice, or attack back. But what happens if you don't? What happens if you inhale, observe, and give your mind time to interpret the moment rationally? You maintain dignity. You maintain perspective. You maintain command over yourself. This is the power of emotional delay. It turns temporary emotions into measured decisions. It prevents you from burning bridges in moments of anger or making promises in moments of excitement. It keeps you from taking things personally that were never about you in the first place. The Stoics understood that the strongest person is not the one who wins arguments or dominates others, but the one who is not controlled by their impulses. When you learn to delay your reactions, you gain something far more valuable than the illusion of winning. You gain the ability to choose who you want to be in every moment. Lesson 3. Master your inner dialogue, or it will become your master. Your mind is constantly talking to you, commenting, judging, labeling, predicting, criticizing. The Stoics understood that this inner dialogue shapes not just your emotions, but your entire reality. If your inner voice is harsh, anxious, or self-defeating, your life will mirror that negativity in every direction. But if your inner speech is disciplined, steady, and empowering, the world begins to look less threatening and more manageable. Epictetus famously taught that it's not events that disturb us, but the opinions we hold about them. Those opinions come from the words you repeat to yourself. And for most people, this inner voice goes completely unchecked. They let it spiral nonstop, replaying past failures, catastrophizing the future, or assuming the worst about others. When you start to tame this voice, when you redirect it, when you teach it to support you rather than sabotage you, you fundamentally change how you experience life. Think about a moment when everything felt overwhelming. A deadline, a conflict, an uncertainty about the future. What made it unbearable wasn't the situation itself, but the inner commentary spiraling on top of it. I can't do this. This always happens to me. I'm not capable. This is terrible. Now, imagine changing that dialogue to something more stoic. This is difficult, but I can handle it. I've overcome challenges before. I will take this one step at a time. The obstacle is the way. The external world hasn't changed, but your internal world has. And that shift changes everything. This inner voice becomes your ally, not your enemy. It becomes the steady captain steering you through chaos. Practicing this doesn't require perfection, only awareness, Catch the destructive thoughts. Question them. Replace them with ones that serve your growth. The more you do this, the more your mind learns that you are the one in charge. And once you master your inner dialogue, you become mentally unshakable, because nothing external can overpower a mind that speaks to itself with strength, clarity, and reason. Lesson 4. Detach from what you cannot control. One of the most liberating Stoic truths is this: you can influence many things, but you control very few. This truth alone can dissolve half of your stress, worry, and emotional chaos, but only if you learn to truly embrace it. Most of our suffering comes from trying to bend the world to our expectations, wanting people to behave a certain way, wanting outcomes to unfold exactly how we imagine, wanting circumstances to align perfectly with our plans. But as Epictetus taught, this attachment to controlling the uncontrollable creates constant turmoil. Imagine you're rowing a boat. You control your effort, your grip, your direction, but you do not control the wind, the waves, or the unpredictability of the sea. Fighting the sea only exhausts you. Working with it frees you. The same is true in life. When you stop demanding that everything goes your way, you unlock a level of calm most people never reach. Think about how often we get upset over things completely outside our influence. Someone's opinion, a delayed message, a change in someone's feelings, an unpredictable setback at work, a mistake from the past that cannot be undone. The Stoics would say gently, "Does this belong to you, or does it belong to fate? If it's not yours to control, let it move as it must. Release your grip. Your power lies in your response, in choosing virtue over frustration, clarity over panic, patience over force. Detachment isn't weakness, and it's never indifference. It's strength. It's understanding that your peace is more valuable than your need to be right or in control. It's saying, this situation may not be what I wanted, but I will meet it with the best version of myself. When you detach from what isn't yours to influence, you preserve your energy for what is, your decisions, your character, your effort, and that shift makes you unstoppable, because the world can move unpredictably, but your inner state remains steady and sovereign. Lesson 5. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics understood a simple truth: ease weakens the mind, discomfort strengthens it. Life is unpredictable, often harsh, and rarely convenient. Those who expect constant comfort are unprepared for difficulty and collapse under pressure. The path of voluntary discomfort trains you to endure what is unavoidable. It is not self-punishment. It is preparation. By deliberately embracing small hardships, a cold shower, a sparse meal, walking instead of taking a ride, sitting in silence without distraction, you strengthen the mind's ability to remain calm under stress. Each voluntary challenge builds resistance. Each act of controlled deprivation trains the body and mind to operate without relying on convenience or pleasure as the source of stability. Comfort becomes a tool, not a master. Your peace is no longer hostage to the external world. This practice also rewires perception. When you deliberately face discomfort, fear loses its power. Hunger, fatigue, inconvenience, and minor pain cease to dictate emotional responses. Voluntary discomfort sharpens focus, heightens gratitude, and reveals the illusion of dependency on ease. You begin to see that scarcity is manageable, that frustration is temporary, and that your mind is capable of maintaining clarity and composure even when circumstances are less than ideal. This creates a quiet confidence, a knowing that no matter what the day brings, you have already faced challenges by choice and survived. The result is resilience rooted in experience, not hope. When difficulty appears unannounced, you respond without panic, without complaint, without being swept away by circumstance. You are no longer a victim of comfort or convenience. You are a master of your own endurance. Lesson 6. Train the will to endure. Endurance is the final discipline that binds all the others together. The Stoics recognize that life will inevitably challenge your body, your mind, and your spirit. The ability to continue, steadily, without collapse, without complaint, is what separates those who are touched by chaos from those who remain untouched. Endurance is not a reaction. It is a cultivated habit. It is the trained capacity to maintain purpose and clarity under strain. To build endurance, the Stoic practices consistent action under pressure. Fatigue, frustration, delay, pain, and confusion are not signals to stop. They are the environment in which endurance is forged. Marcus Aurelius instructed, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." These are not abstract words. They are instructions for living, for acting in the face of life's inevitable resistance. Endurance is strengthened through repetition and commitment. Wake early, even when your body protests. Complete tasks, even when motivation is low. Maintain your word, even when it is inconvenient. Continue learning, acting, and contributing, regardless of recognition or ease. Each act of persistence under pressure trains the mind to separate effort from outcome, intention from reward. You become someone whose presence, work, and speech are reliable, not because circumstances are favorable, but because you have prepared yourself to remain steady regardless of them. This discipline also protects your clarity. When others are shaken by setbacks or stirred into panic, you maintain composure. Your mind does not scatter. Your actions remain deliberate. Your voice remains calm. Your presence becomes a stabilizing force in chaos, a point of structure in disorder. Endurance trains not only the body, but the attention, the emotions, and the will. It teaches the mind to operate under friction, to resist the seduction of comfort, and to persist through delay, loss, or failure. Endurance is not visible in moments of ease. It is revealed in crisis, in prolonged effort, in repeated challenge. It is not about seeking hardship. It is about preparing the self so that when hardship arrives, and it will, you remain upright, aligned, and undisturbed. This is the Stoic advantage. Your strength is internal, independent of circumstance, and available whenever life demands it. When practiced daily, endurance becomes identity. You no longer stop because it is uncomfortable. You no longer wait for permission, motivation, or ideal conditions. You continue because that is who you are. You act because effort is your standard. You persist because discipline is your posture. In this, your peace becomes unshakable, your focus unbreakable, your character undeniable. This is how the Stoic remains untouched, through attention, principle, voluntary discomfort, disciplined ascent of thought, detachment from what cannot be controlled, and endurance. You cultivate a mind that is steady, a heart that is resilient, and a life that is undisturbed by the turmoil of the world. Chapter 7. Master the Art of Presence. The seventh way to remain untouched is to master presence. Presence is the ability to fully inhabit the moment without being pulled by what has already happened or what might happen next. It is the skill of being aware, attentive, and deliberate in every action, thought, and interaction. The Stoics understood that disturbance rarely comes from events themselves. It comes from our mind projecting into the past or future. Anxiety, regret, and desire are born of distraction. When you are fully present, these disturbances lose their grip. The world may roar around you, but your mind remains calm because it is engaged exactly where it should be, here, now. Presence requires 3 practices: attention, acceptance, and deliberate action. 1. Attention. Notice where your mind is at every moment. Is it dwelling on what cannot be changed? Is it spinning into fear or expectation? Pull it back gently to what is. The Stoics trained attention like a muscle. They observed, reflected, and redirected it. You do the same? Focus on what is in front of you, your breath, your steps, your current task, the conversation at hand. This simple discipline creates clarity. 2. Acceptance. Being present does not mean ignoring difficulty. It means facing what is with calm and without resistance. Accept the moment exactly as it is, even if it is unpleasant. Acceptance does not remove responsibility, but it prevents wasted energy. Complaining, resisting, and wishing for different circumstances only scatters the mind. Accept the facts, assess the options, act. 3. Deliberate action. Presence transforms awareness into effective action. When you are fully engaged in the moment, your choices are sharper, your movements more precise, your words more measured. You act from clarity, not impulse. You respond. You do not react. Every action becomes intentional. Mastering presence also means cultivating silence and stillness. Take moments each day to pause. Observe your surroundings without judgment. Listen without planning your response. Feel without reacting. This trains the mind to inhabit the now instead of fleeing into what was or what could be. When presence is cultivated, the previous 6 disciplines become more effective. Attention becomes sharper. Principle becomes lived in real time. Discomfort is met without panic. Assent is immediate. Detachment is easier. And endurance flows naturally. Presence is the glue that binds all Stoic practices into a coherent, functioning life. The person who masters presence is untouchable, not because life avoids them, but because they engage life without distraction, without projection, and without unnecessary attachment. They are aware of the storm, but do not become the storm. They move through chaos with quiet, deliberate action. Their peace is built from attention, their freedom from acceptance, and their power from clarity. This is mastery. This is the Stoic art of being fully alive, fully engaged, and yet untouched. Chapter 8. Integrating the disciplines into daily life. The Stoic way is not meant to live on the page. It is meant to live in your blood, your actions, and your choices, to remain untouched by chaos, to act with clarity, and to endure with grace. These disciplines must become habits, not concepts. Integration is about creating a life where Stoicism flows naturally, where each day becomes a training ground and each moment a chance to exercise mastery. 1. Morning reflection. Begin each day with intention. Review the challenges you might face. Consider the virtues you want to embody. Ask yourself, what can I control today? What must I accept? How will I act deliberately? This sets the tone. The mind becomes a sentinel, ready to observe rather than react. 2. Moment-by-moment practice. Throughout the day, anchor yourself in presence. When you speak, speak fully. When you act, act fully. Pause when frustration arises. Reflect before responding. Use the 7 disciplines as lenses: attention, principle, discomfort, assent, detachment, endurance, and presence. Let them guide your choices. 3. Evening reflection. At day's end, review your actions. What did you do well? Where did you let distraction or emotion dictate your choices? Stoicism is not perfection. It is progress. Reflection turns mistakes into lessons and small victories into lasting habits. 4. Build Stoic rituals. Habits reinforce practice. Begin with small rituals. Breathing exercises to center attention. Journaling to clarify thoughts and observe growth. Deliberate exposure to discomfort to strengthen resilience. Over time, these rituals make the disciplines automatic. The mind no longer needs constant instruction. It moves naturally in line with principle. 5. Community and example. Live Stoicism outwardly. Let your calm, deliberate, and principled presence influence others. Teach by action rather than words. True mastery is visible in how you live, not in how you speak. 6. Lifelong commitment. Stoicism is not a phase. It is a lifelong path. Life will always bring challenges, loss, and chaos. But with the disciplines integrated into daily life, you remain untouchable. Not because life spares you, but because you meet it with unwavering clarity, grounded in your principles and anchored in the present. The Stoic life realized, when integrated, the 7 disciplines: attention, principle, discomfort, assent, detachment, endurance, and presence become a unified force. They transform fear into courage, desire into moderation, pain into insight, and chaos into opportunity. You are no longer swayed by circumstance. You are a calm observer, a deliberate actor, a resilient soul. Life moves around you, but your inner citadel remains unshaken. This is the Stoic art in action, living fully, acting intentionally, and remaining untouched. The journey does not end. Each day is a new chance to practice, a new chance to refine, a new chance to live as the Stoic you were meant to become. Conclusion: becoming untouched. These 6 disciplines are not isolated tricks. They are interconnected practices that, when trained together, build a mind and a life that cannot be easily shaken. Control your attention. Anchor yourself in principle. Train in discomfort. Ascend above fleeting impressions. Let go of what you cannot control. Endure relentlessly. Each step reinforces the others. Together, they form the foundation of a steady, self-directed, and resilient life. The Stoics did not promise a world without challenge. They promised a mind capable of meeting challenge without being consumed. They did not promise comfort. They promised freedom. Freedom from fear, from reactive emotion, from dependence on circumstances. They built strength where the world would break most. They walked through storms with purpose, clarity, and unshakable calm. You too can train this strength. It is available every day in small choices, where you place your attention, how you respond to discomfort, what you decide to control, and what you let pass. It is honed in practice, not theory. Each decision to act with discipline, to pause before reaction, to continue when it is difficult, adds to the reservoir of your inner power. Life will test you. It will ask for patience, courage, and judgment. You cannot avoid these tests, but you can prepare yourself to meet them with steadiness. You can walk through insult, loss, and chaos without surrendering your inner order. You can remain untouched, not untouched by life, but untouched by the chaos of uncontrolled emotion, indecision, and dependence. This is the Stoic path. It is a path of training, of repeated action, of disciplined presence. And it begins now. Choose your attention. Choose your principles. Choose discomfort. Choose reflection. Choose detachment. Choose endurance. Train these choices daily. Build them into your rhythm. Strengthen your mind. Strengthen your will. Strengthen your presence. Step into the world not as a victim of circumstance, but as a master of your response. Let your steadiness become your signature. Let your calm become your armor. Let your presence be a testament to the power of disciplined, cultivated resilience. Be unshakable. Be steady. Be untouched. Epilogue, the Stoic Manifesto. Life will always be uncertain. Chaos, pain, and loss are inevitable companions. Yet, in the heart of every challenge lies a choice. The choice to surrender to circumstance or to rise above it. The Stoic does not seek to escape life, but to master it from within. The 7 disciplines, attention, principle, discomfort, assent, detachment, endurance, and presence, are your tools, your armor, and your compass. Attention sharpens perception. Principle guides decision. Discomfort strengthens resilience. Assent cultivates wisdom. Detachment preserves freedom. Endurance fuels perseverance. Presence grounds existence. Embrace them daily. Let them shape your thoughts, your actions, your soul. With each challenge, act with clarity. With each loss, respond with dignity. With each success, remain humble. The Stoic path is not a destination. It is a way of life. It is the quiet strength that carries you through storms, the unwavering calm that steadies the mind, and the deliberate choice that defines your character. Live deliberately, act intentionally, observe without attachment, endure without complaint, and in doing so, become untouchable, not by the whims of fate, but by the mastery of your own mind. This is the Stoic life, not perfect, but resilient, not passive, but powerful, not detached, but fully alive. Rise, breathe, act, and become the architect of your own inner citadel.